If you think it's expensive to use a professional, it's really expensive to use an amateur. I just read a real estate horror story that I thought I would share with you that may end up saving you hundreds of thousands of dollars in the future. So a buyer wrote a contract on a property in Kitchener, Ontario, and it was for $880,000, and he actually assigned that offer to a corporation. Now, the corporation failed to close. The seller resold the property, sued the corporation and the director, the buyer. And then he actually resold the property for $710,000. So over $224,000 less than he sold it to the original buyer for. And he thought, this is a slam dunk. The original buyer failed to close. I'm going to take this to court and I'm going to be awarded a judgment and I'm going to get my money back from the original buyer. The problem is the original buyer actually did the assignment to the corporation properly, releasing them from complete liability. And the Ontario court refused to see why they should pierce the corporate veil, protecting the original buyer, and the seller got nothing. I've actually seen this come up many, many times in my world because we do a lot of investment properties, we do a ton of commercial real estate and farms, and in many of those agreements, the buyers make the initial offer, and then the buyer's agent or the buyer themselves ask to assign it to a corporation. Sometimes it's actually pre-baked into the original agreement of purchase and sale. And if you have an agent that misses that and they allow for it to be assigned to a corporation, releasing the buyer for complete liability, you can lose, similar in this case, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I know people hate on real estate agents all the time, thinking that they're overpaid. But this is a great example of how bad agents are definitely overpaid, but good agents are undervalued. Because it doesn't matter if it's a $100,000 property, $1 million property, or $25 million property. Risks exist at all of those price points that if you use an agent that doesn't understand the minutia of how to properly negotiate a transaction or how to look out for things like this, you're going to find out really quickly that if you think it's expensive to use a professional, it's really expensive to use an amateur.